press my record button. Okay, welcome to yoga. I'm Rebecca, and I was just about to say that we are in, pardon me, a very interesting week where there is just this enormous confluence of many, many different things. Among them, today is the summer solstice. We have just celebrated the holiday of Juneteenth. This is International Yoga Day. And finally, I learned this morning that this is Pollinator Week. I have a friend who is a beekeeper, and this is, I don't know if it's international, National Pollinator Week. And we talked a lot this morning in our meditation group about bees and about how bees live in a highly democratic society. And when it's time for the hive to find a new location, they send out scouts. And the scouts come back and do this little dance. Each one does a dance that somehow gives the other bees the information they need to know about the site that they have seen. And as the bees, take in these presentations from their fellow bees, they decide which one they like, and they start doing that dance. And that is how they decide where to move the hive to. And so then the whole hive moves. And so I love this idea of dancing for democracy. So let's get our dancing for democracy on today. We actually have a runoff election here in Georgia today. So if you haven't voted, please do. Make your dance count. It is the summer solstice. I took a yoga class this morning and we did many, many, many salutes to the sun. And I appreciate the raising of energy that brings. I'm not going to make us do many, many salutes to the sun, but we may do a few or a few versions of sun salutes. And I thought it would be fun to work on bee breath. This is a pranayama. We've done it before, otherwise known as Brahmari breath. And it is a breath where we make a humming sound, and it sounds like bees, hence the name. But it is one of my favorite tools to use when I'm dealing with anxiety. And that anxiety can take the form of when I have to get a test done, like an MRI, when I'm on a plane and it's super bumpy and I feel a little bit anxious, when I am trying to work on a project and I can feel myself starting to get into that spinning. This is the breath that I use myself. And what I love about it is that I can make a very small humming sound, and it helps me to feel calmer. Part of the physiology of that is when you hum, it slows down your exhale. So it takes a longer time to exhale through the hum than it does to just go, right? So it slows down your exhale, and slowing down your exhale serves a function of slowing down your heart rate, slowing down your body systems, and it indicates to your body that you're in safety and this is a place to come in, to land, right? To rest. The bees arriving to their new home, right? And I can make this humming sound in such a way that no one else can hear it, especially if I'm on a plane, right? Because the planes are loud. And I can find that pitch that completely disappears in the plane noise. And no one has any idea that I'm humming to distract myself or to calm myself. There's also something about the pressure as you're slowing down your exhale through the hum. There's this little bit of downward pressure with the diaphragm into the abdominal cavity that creates, it's almost like, when you place something on your belly to feel safe. Yeah, it's remarkable. So all of this in one pranayama, one breathing exercise. So B breath, Brahmari breath, goes like this. Inhaling. I think you can hear the sound that I'm making. I have studied this breath in courses, and there are ways to make it very loud and very high pitched and very challenging. But I like a nice, gentle for myself. So I'm going to have us come into our grounding meditation, finding our breath, and then I'm going to lead us into making this sound. You can choose to do it or not, but I encourage you to give it a try and see what this is all about. And there are other versions where you close off your ear flaps or cover your eyes or even close your nostrils. But none of those are add something, but I think the basic experience of doing this humming is enough for us today. So take a moment to find your grounding in your comfortable posture for a little bit of breath work and meditation. Feeling your feet making connection with the ground beneath you. Allow your inhales to help you sit a little bit taller in your seat, reaching the crown of your head towards the sky. Allow your exhales to help you feel a little more grounded to the earth beneath you. Allow your eyes to close or take a soft, unfocused gaze, noticing if that changes your awareness. Begin to notice the sounds that you hear beyond the sound of my voice. And then begin to tune in to your own breath. Just noticing one place where you feel the breath. Maybe at the tip of your nose or your upper lip, or maybe in your chest or belly. And keep your attention on that place as you go through several repetitions of inhales and exhales. Noticing if anything changes. Stay with it. And then begin to take on this humming breath. Take a gentle inhale and exhale with a humming sound. Notice if that humming sound helps you to elongate your exhale. So you'll take the hum all the way to the end of your breath. Pause, Take another inhale. You can take a breath or two in between if you'd like. And then, once again, maybe 3 more times with your own breath. And then release, Brahmari breath. Coming back into your natural breath. Take several rounds of breaths, inhales and exhales. Noticing anything that comes to your awareness. And when you're ready, come back into the space. Blink your eyes open. We'll come back to this humming breath at the end of our class, and I'll be interested to know afterwards what your experience is. Okay, we're going to move into some seated postures. I'm going to move back so you can see me a little better. So sitting up tall, either in a chair or on the floor, and we'll begin with our seated sun breath. Inhale, floating arms up or out. Find a place where your palms can come together, and exhale to heart center. And we'll do this several times. And the next time that you're reaching, hold, and we'll come into a side bend, planting the right hand, come up and over with the left, and then begin some arm circles right here. Take your time, beginning to move through the range of motion. Maybe you take a smaller circle with a bent elbow. Whatever feels good in your body today. And then find a place to reverse. And again, whatever feels good. If there is some reason why this does not work for you today, then just work in and out of a side bend. And using your next inhale to come up through center, and we'll come up and over to the other side. And again, same thing, circling the arm. And again, making whatever adjustments you need to make. This is your yoga practice, so make it work for you today. Finding a good place to reverse direction. My friend said that one bee produces 1/8 of a teaspoon of honey. Wow. It's a lot of bees to make that honey. Inhale and reach up. And this time we'll come into a twist. So bring your left hand to your right knee and your right hand behind you. Once you've come into the twist, settle for a moment and inhale. Get nice and tall. And then if there's more twist, exhale and rotate. Inhale up through center and exhale to the other side. Inhale, lengthen to make some space, and exhale, squeeze and twist. And take your time moving side to side with the twist. You can choose to hold on one side for several breaths or take 1 or 2 breaths on each side and keep moving side to side. The longest day of the year. And this or the next time that you come through center, stay here, releasing arms down. You might switch the cross of your legs if you're sitting cross-legged. That helps us to balance out. We always have a favorite side. I know I do. Bring your hands to your knees or thighs or shins. We'll come into some seated cat and cow pose. So inhale in place, exhale and draw your belly in. Rock to the back of your pelvis. Maybe your head releases towards your chest. And then inhale, roll the pelvis forward. Open the heart, reach through the crown. Hold on to your knees. You can sort of pull back and get a nice extension. Exhale and draw the belly in, gently rounded shape, not a big rounding. Inhale, opening up the front body. Stay with this cat-cow movement or add some circling by moving to the back and then one side to the front and then the other. Noticing what you notice as you begin to move. I am sometimes amazed, both in the, I'm both delighted and astonished. Sometimes I don't know that there's a little pain somewhere, and other times I'm well aware. Let's reverse direction if you haven't already. And sometimes I think it's going to be painful, and instead I find some ease. And making your way back to center with just a couple of seated cat-cows. And come to stillness. Now we are going to do a little bit of hands and knees work today. If that work is not going to be good for you, then you can stay seated, continue with some cat-cow, maybe do some leg extensions and arm extensions as we do the same. Make sure if you're coming onto your hands and knees that you have something underneath your knees for some cushioning. There are so many different things that you can use. I taught a class this weekend and I had people with these cute little squishy pedals that they put under their knees, and then someone else had a big bolster that she put under her knees. So we take what we need. Hands, fists, or forearms, lengthening the spine. And let's find cat and cow here. As you inhale, let your tailbone float up, belly floats down, chest opens, and you reach through the crown of your head. Then start the movement at the pelvis by tucking your tail. Belly draws in, and the crown releases. Again, start by lifting your tailbone, softening and opening the front body, and then exhale, tuck the pelvis, draw the belly in nice and strong. So just a few here or in your seated position if you're choosing to remain there. And the next time that you come through neutral, pause there, and let's extend the left leg behind you. Press back, stretching. If you're seated in a chair, you can extend the leg in front of you, or even, I guess, if you're seated on a cushion, you could do that as well. Inhale if you'd like and lift the leg just to hip height. Really work to level your hips so that your knee and toes are pointing down towards the mat. Stay here or add the reach of that opposite arm. It's a little precarious. It's a balance pose. One more breath, and we'll switch sides, extending the right, getting the stretch first. Use your sticky mat. Press back. And then inhale the leg right to hip height. Press out through your heel. That'll help you notice. Are your toes pointing down? Is your knee pointing down? Stay here or add the opposite arm. Keep drawing in your abdomen to support your back. One more breath and then release and come back. We're going to do just a little bit of knee down lunge. So if you have your blocks handy, you might want to grab them now. And we will step our left foot forward in between the blocks and walk ourselves up, hands on our knee. Then we can begin to rock forward and back, opening up the back hip and the back of the front leg. The next time the hips are pointing or pushing forward, pause there and maybe you can raise one arm or both arms. Big inhale. Exhale, come into goddess arms. Inhale and reach. And exhale, hands down. Let's curl back toes under and come into a knee down lunge. Pressing back through your heel, let your back and knee come up. Step your back foot up to meet your front and switch sides. Step back with the left, bend that knee and come down, and then begin to rock a little bit, front and back. If you prefer not to do this, you could be on your back, drawing one knee and then the other in. And next time you press forward, hand to knee, maybe one or both arms come up. Big inhale and reach. Exhale, goddess arms. Open up your heart. Inhale, lift. And exhale, hands to blocks, curl back toes under. And press back through your heel, lifting your back knee. Finding that lunge position. Step the back foot forward to meet the front. You can take more than one step. And this time, walk your hands to your knees and come all the way up to standing. Beautiful. I'm going to move this out of the way for the moment. And let's come up to standing and find our mountain pose. So feet about hip distance apart. And when I say hip distance, I mean the hip joint and the leg coming straight out from the joint, right? So I say hip distance and then I see people do this. I guess they think their hips are super wide, but I mean the hip joint. Okay. Bring your hands to the top of your hips and rock a little bit forward and back. Shifting your weight between the balls of your feet and your heels. Coming to stillness in the center. Begin to hug your legs towards each other isometrically, meaning that you don't slide your feet, you keep them planted, but then you engage as if you could hug in towards center. Lift the pelvic floor, lift the low belly and the heart, lift the crown of the head, and then inhale and reach up or out. Let your palms meet and exhale to heart center. Do that 2 more times. Last time. Take a moment right here to find your focal point, your drishti, something on your horizon line that isn't moving. Eyes fixed there. We're going to move into balance. So if you need additional support, reorient yourself now, hand on sturdy piece of furniture or your wall if you need it. And then find your mountain pose with hands at heart center. Become the mountain and then become the tree in the mountain. So you can feel that enormous sense of stability beneath you, of groundedness, and the tree with great courage and bravery growing up towards the sun. Shift your weight into your left leg to free the right to turn out. Maybe you have your foot at your ankle or calf or thigh, above or below the knee. Keep hugging in towards center, stabilizing, lifting the pelvic floor and the low belly, the heart and the crown. Stay right here or open up. Maybe that challenges your balance. It did mine. And find the fullness of your tree, the groundedness of the lower body, the lift and buoyancy of the upper body. Make sure breath is flowing. One more breath. And then come back to your starting position. Maybe walk in place to release the standing limb. And then find your way back to this sense of the mountain and the tree. Once you feel that stability, shift to the other leg. The left leg turns out. I've discovered I have a habit of twisting my hips on this side. So I'm working to keep my hips really squared to the front and let the opening, here I'll do it with my toes down, be in the hip here, not, I think I was fudging a little by twisting my body. Okay, so finding your balanced posture, maybe you add the canopy of your tree. Broadening out with great courage and bravery into the sun, into the air. One more breath. And then on your exhale, come through heart center and shake it out. So I want to work just a little bit with a half sun salute. And I'm going to grab some water as I talk. And in a half sun salute, we will come into a forward fold. So to protect our backs, especially if there are any bone density issues, which can be caused, of course, by age, but also by some of the cancer treatments, that we will use something. I have a chair here, I can use that. I also have blocks, and that might work depending on how much flexibility you have. So, let me push this back. Okay, here we go. I'm going to demonstrate first with the chair, and then I'll move to the blocks. So find your mountain pose, standing up nice and tall, facing whatever you're going to use. And what this is for is, as we come into our forward fold, I'm going to bend my knees, then I have somewhere to land. I can place my hands here for support, okay? So standing up nice and tall, feet on the ground, you can find a focal point for sort of your landing spot. And then we'll inhale and float the arms up. Exhale As you draw your arms out, begin to hinge at the hips, coming forward. There may be a point where your knees need to bend in order to keep that long spine. So that's when your hands come to your support. As you inhale, lengthen. Exhale, maybe you go a little deeper. And then balancing on your feet, knees bend. Inhale and come all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Okay? All right, we're going to go through this a few times. There is a practice of doing 108, but I'm not going to have us do that unless you want to. No, you can do that on your own time. Back just a little more. Okay, so I'm going to use blocks for this next round. And you have to find the item that works best for you. I don't know if you can see my blocks because they're dark purple, but they're right here. So finding your mountain pose, eyes on your focal point. Inhale up, maybe you look up a little bit. Exhale, begin to come forward with a flat back, hinging at the hips. Knees bend as you reach for your support. As you inhale, lengthen a little more. Exhale, maybe you come a little further forward. And then bending your knees, come all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Okay, so we're going to take several in a row, and I want you to work safely. So if the chair is the thing, you could even do this to the wall if that's better. Maybe you could do it to the back of the chair if you need to only come a little ways forward. Find what works for you. We're going to do 5 in a row, okay? All right, you can stay with me or work with your own breath speed. Finding your mountain pose. Inhale up. Exhale, forward fold, hinging at the hips, bend your knees. Inhale, lengthen, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, bend your knees and come all the way up. Exhale to heart center. Continue. That's 2. 3. 4. 5. When you come back to your starting place, pause there for several breaths. And release and shake it out. Beautiful. I hope that you are feeling a little bit of that sun energy, but not so much that you're feeling exhausted or hurting. We want to engage. We want to get our muscles firing. We want to get the breath moving. And then we want to be able to cool down, right? The juxtaposition, the yin and yang. Yang is that fiery energy, sometimes associated with male energy. The yin is that female moon energy, sometimes associated with female energy. And we have both. We have all in all of us. All of this energy exists in all of us. So we're going to come into, we've done a Surya Namaskar, a sun salute. And now I'd like to take us into a Chandra Namaskar, a moon salute. So keeping us in balance, sun and moon, yin and yang. Let's take a slightly wider step. So not the widest, but a little bit wider, maybe towards the edges of your mat. And let's inhale. Arms can float out or up. If your arms are coming overhead, interlace your fingers and release your index finger. And get nice and tall. Inhale and lengthen. As you exhale, press your hips to the right and come up and over to the left. If this is too much, lower a hand to your hip. I prefer it this way with the hand on the hip. Inhale, back up. And exhale, hips come to the left, come up and over to the right. And inhale, back up. Exhale, release, arms down. So that's one cycle. Inhale up. We'll go to the left first, to the right first this time. Exhale, over. Okay, I'm getting a message. I've been signed out, but hopefully you all can still see me. I'm going to hope for that. Zoom is a funny creature. Sorry about that. Inhale up. We'll go to the other side. Hand to your hip. Press your hip away and come up and over. Inhale through center and exhale. Release. Let's do it 2 more times. Inhale up. Hand to your hip. Press your hips to one side. As you exhale, come up and over to the other. Last time. Walk your feet, actually walk them out even wider. And let's take a gentle Tai Chi twist. That sequence is a version of balancing half moon pose, or I guess just half moon pose, Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. The balancing is a little different. And releasing this, come back to center, walk your feet in. Let's take one more sun breath. Inhale up, exhale to heart center, and then find your way down to a seated posture for some final seated work. So as you find your way down, bringing soles of feet together, knees apart, holding on to your knees or shins or ankles, begin to rock a little bit from side to side. And really try to rock your hips, right? Sometimes people just want to do this, but I really want you to see it if it's comfortable. Obviously, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But give it a try to really rock from side to side. I used to have a teacher who would make us rock and hold, but I'm not going to do that. All the things I'm not going to do. All right, coming to center. Inhale, sit up nice and tall. Exhale, maybe you can release a little bit more in your hips. Inhale, sitting up nice and tall. Exhale, softening in the hips. This time we'll extend the right leg out and bring the left foot to the right inner thigh. Inhale and reach up. Exhale, lower the left hand and come up and over with the right. So you're on a diagonal away from that right leg. Inhale up, and this time plant your hand maybe to the inside of your right leg and come up and over as if you were going to touch your toes. So left hand to right foot. And we'll go back and forth. Exhale away. Just a few times. Two more. Inhale to center, bringing hands behind you, and switch sides. Inhale up. This time we're planting the right hand, exhaling left away from left. Inhale up, plant that left hand, and right comes up over to left. And then we'll move side to side with the breath. Last set. Inhale up, exhale, fingertips behind you, walk your feet out, and then bounce them a little bit closer together. Little bounces and windshield wiper, however you like it. You can even do circles if you like. Whatever feels good. Now we're going to come into another meditation using Brahmari breath. This time I am going to invite you, you don't have to make this choice, but once I cue it, to try closing your ear flaps a little bit. So what you do is you just very gently, you can use your thumbs or your fingers or whatever tool you have to close the ear flaps as you move into the sequence of Brahmari breath. Now you can choose to remain seated for this meditation or go ahead and lie down, whatever feels best to you. If you're sitting, make sure you're well supported so that you can be comfortable, but also with an elegant spine, reaching up tall and feeling supported. Oof, I'm getting a foot cramp at the same time. Yeah, it's hard to teach when you have a foot cramp. Okay. Shh. All right, we'll try this, see how that goes. Sitting up nice and tall. And then begin to release the effects of the physical practice. Allowing the breath to flow smoothly in and out. Becoming aware of the spaciousness of the inhale, maybe elongating the spine or opening up the front body. And become aware of the grounding, the centering of the exhale, sinking a little more with each breath into the earth beneath you, into your supports. Beginning at the top of your head, become aware of the crown that reaches tall towards the sun. You can imagine a little sun at the top of your head or a bright yellow flower. And imagine that you're basking in a gentle sun, a gentle and safe sun, feeling the warmth, the glow. Allow it to gently spread down across your face, releasing the muscles of your jaw. This warm glow through your neck, down your shoulders, down your arms, and out through your hands and fingers. This warmth that comes from the sun right at the top of your head drops all the way down through the middle of your body, softening through your low belly and your low back, through your hips and thighs, all the way down the length of your legs and through your feet and toes. Feeling this warmth, this golden light move through you as you inhale and exhale. You can stay right here, or in a moment, you can choose to come into bee breath, Brahmari breath. You can also choose to close your ear flaps or leave them open. And I will ask you to work with bee breath until you're ready to let it go. And then come into your natural breath. You can stay seated or make your way into Shavasana. We only have about 10 minutes left, so choose how you'd like to use this time. Finding your breath, inhaling gently, bee breath. Choose to close your ear flaps or not. Choose a high-pitched sound or a lower sound. Stay with it for several repetitions and then come into silence. Stay with Brahmari breath or release it and come into Shavasana, rest. Begin to deepen your breath. Yeah, I just realized I was muted. Begin to deepen your breath. If you're lying down, roll to one side and pause. And then press into your hands and make your way up to sitting, allowing your attention to stay deeply inward for just a moment or two. I don't know if you heard my little poem. Let me see if I can find it again. Here it is. On the first day of summer, may you dance in the light. May you honor your light and make note of the light in others. So let's seal this practice with one chant of Om for our beloved community. Bringing palms together, we'll inhale. Om Shanti, peace, peace, peace. Jai Bhagwan. May the light in all of us be victorious. Thank you so much for sharing your summer solstice practice with me and with each other.